a training on taxes. It was awesome, and I've always known how amazing it is to have a home-based business. After I heard this again, I'm like so much more excited because what he was saying was that every month, by keeping good records and by having a home-based business with the intent to make profit. Doesn't mean you're making profit, so even if you're a brand new jeweler, doesn't mean that you have to show profit, but you have an intent to make profit. We can be writing off and earning basically $300 to $400 a month from our taxes. I don't know if you guys realize how good we have it, but it's amazing just to have a home-based business. And he was saying if he's not in, like he's got a business that he does this, he's not an accountant, but he said everyone in America should basically be part of some kind of a home-based business company because it's just dumb not to because you get all the tax write-offs. So be proud of yourself for being one of those smart Americans that have their home-based businesses. So we're going to be talking about how to get the best benefit back at the end of the year when it comes to your taxes. A sheet is coming around that says taxes for your business. Okay, so you guys will all have this to take home with you. Pretty much the whole thing with keeping or getting the best benefit on your taxes is keeping very good records, okay? And we're going to go through the easiest way to do that. I'm going to try to break it down as easy as possible for you so you actually do it. Because that's a lot of part of this business is you have to do the work. Part of getting really good return on your taxes is to keep really good records. So once everyone have this sheet? Does anyone not have a sheet yet? It's still coming around. Okay. What this does is it breaks it down into 7 categories, okay? This is going based on your 1099 that either you file or if you have an accountant file for you. These are the different categories that they file under, okay? So this was done with the help of an accountant, so it's not just me telling you to do it this way. There was an actual person that said, yes.
Is there any extras of those tax ones?
Here, I have, you can have this one, I have that.
Okay, you have this?
This is also on the Rockstar website if you ever need
Right.
it again.
Me and the sheriff today, and it's on the Rockstar site, okay?
And someone can have mine when I'm done with it too. All
I
right.
got some more.
Oh.
Raise your hand, please. Sorry, Lloyd.
That's okay. Whenever you're buying something that is business related or paying for something that's business related, just save your receipts. Tons of different ways of doing it, whether you have one of like those little coupon organizers that you can buy at the dollar store in your purse or some way, even if it's a baggie in your purse, whatever it is, but hang on to your receipts. You have to keep your receipts in order to get the write-offs, especially if at some point in time you're ever audited. You have to have your receipts, okay? But this will break it down into how to get the best bang for your buck. So you're going to save anything that has to do with your car. The best way is just to track your mileage because your mileage is a much better write-off than, what's the other part you can do? Wear and tear or something, maintenance, yeah. So just track your mileage. I always just either whether you have it in your calendar of where you're going to and from. Some people actually just take a picture of their odometer before they start driving somewhere and take a picture of it after. Then it has a record in your phone and you can jot that down. If you guys use the Hood & House program, which is a third-party company that Premier works with, there's a great tracking mileage system on there. So whatever it is, find a way that you will keep up with and track your mileage. It's 56 cents a mile that we can write off. That's 56.5 this year. Oh, was it? It's amazing. Like if we rack up some miles going to and from shows or to and from training, to and from stores, whatever it is, you can track that mileage. That's a huge write-off right there. The next one is your office expenses. This is pretty much anything that you deem necessary to run your business that is an office expense, office supply, whether you have to buy paper or printer ink or pens, whatever it is, that you have all the different ideas under here, save the receipts for that. We buy these things, you might as well get the tax write-off from it. Postage, if you ever have or incur any bait charges, that's a tax write-off under your office supplies or office expenses. Your internet at your house, your cell phone bill, 100% of your cell phone can be written off. So if you have 2 lines, like me and Dave share, like we've got a family share plan, just my line is able to be tax deducted. Just make sure that usually most bills will separate that out, but your whole 100% of your cell phone bill is a tax write-off. Do you have a question?
Well, what about, like, you've got computer on here,
If you buy a computer,
but if you use it for other stuff too?
you're using it for your business.
run your business without it.
Right. Yep.
On the gas mileage, do you have to write down your odometer reading, or
Yes.
could you just write down 21 miles, like from point
Yeah,
A
no,
to
you can write down mileage.
You don't have to
You
write
don't have
down
to have your,
your
no, I was
odometer.
just giving an idea of how to keep track of it. Yep, just your mileage, yes.
Yes, right, write it into the round trip miles. Because that's what I do, like volunteer.
So she was asking, she said she's heard that because our cell phone is our personal cell phone, that she heard you can't write it off. 2 years ago, they changed it because it was too hard to track the percentages, so now it's 100%, the government says it's okay. So yeah, it's better too. Telephone charges, so you can't do your cell phone and your home phone that I've been told. I would obviously take your cell phone because it's a lot more expensive, okay? And a lot of people don't even have home phones anymore, so it's kind of a moot point. Your home office space, again, this is kind of a bit of contention between some people. Write off your home office space. A lot of people say that it's going to red flag you for getting audited. That's not true. You have a home-based business. This is a huge, huge part of your write-off. Yes?
I just want to say something that I learned too. If
Yes.
your tax guy says that you can't deduct these things, find a new one.
Yep.
Yeah.
My guy didn't allow me to do any of this last time.
Yeah. And if you need one, we have a great one if you want a recommendation.
And just so you know, with your first couple of years, you're gonna have a loss, usually no matter what. And your account says you can't write off your office space. It's true. You can't when you have a loss. It's usually starting your third, fourth year that you can actually start writing off the your home office expenses. You cannot have a loss and write that off as well. So.
Yep. Yes.
Does it have to be a dedicated space?
That was the thing that we went over. So on this, because there has been like, some things say yes, some things say no. What this guy said is, you have to have a designated office space. It does not have to be a designated room. So a lot of people will say that it has to be like a room with a door. What he was saying, what my accountant does too, and I guess it's been changed over the years, is you have to have a designated space. So if this was my office or one of my bedrooms in my house or something, and I'm having a desk in this corner, and that's where I run my business, the square footage of that area is my office space that I can write off. Now, one of the things, and I'm totally changing where I have certain things in my house after this, is if you have like a designated space in your like office or whatever, but then you have like a fax machine or something where you have to do business in a different part of your house, or if you store things like in a closet in the basement, then all of those different spaces can be added up for the total square footage. So if you have he was explaining, if this was like my fax machine right here, it wouldn't be just the square footage of this table because I have to walk around it. So I need enough space to work in this area so you can figure out what the square footage appropriately of that area would be. If you have a closet, pick your biggest closet and store your stuff in there, and then that can be a tax write-off. So that's how you get the deduction of the home office space. So if, like, let's say my home office space that I'm using for Premier is 20%. That means 20% of my mortgage every month, 20% of all my utilities every month. If I have my driveway plowed or do any kind of upgrades or maintenance to my house, anything that you are spending money on in your house, you take that percentage as a tax write-off. That, your roof, yes! It adds up very, very quickly.
I heard that it's not necessarily the maintenance of it, it's the roof and the things that you're doing to make it
You can do that, so if you had like a lawn mowing service, or that's part, because you're running business and that's part of your home.
Okay.
Yep. The next section is your business supplies. Yeah.
Just for lawn mowing, you have to hold things in your home for it to qualify. You have to have customers or OPs in your home.
No, he said just if you're running a business, you can't do your business out without your house. So you have to be working with,
Oh, really?
yeah, but as long as there's, he said it's because we're dealing with, because we're dealing with customers inside of our house, because we're calling them to book our shows, we're inputting it, yeah, because it's part of your house.
So how do you keep track of lawn mowing?
You pay a bill. You mow your own lawn, you can't pay yourself. The next section is the business supplies. So business supplies, things are like your renewal fee every year, the $3.95 that you pay to start and the $3.50 that we continue on with. that's a tax write-off. All of your jeweler shares, the $8 jeweler shares, the $6 gift cards, keep track of those after every show because that's a tax write-off. If you buy any jewelry samples or have any replacement exchanges that you personally do for your supplies, that's a tax write-off, so just print off the receipts. The training fees, every time you come here and pay $5 for this room, that's a tax write-off, so just jot that down because that's part of your business expenses. If you do use Hood and House program, that's a tax write-off, or any other program that you guys might use. Your Square, if you guys use Square to run your credit cards or ProPay or whatever other company you guys are using, the percentage that they deduct, that's a tax write-off. And most, I know Square does, and I'm sure ProPay does. You can run a report from there monthly or yearly, and it will tell you how much you paid in all of those interest charges, and that's a tax write-off. So really, bank fees, yeah, any kind of bank fees that you might incur. This is my favorite one. If you have like People magazine or Style magazine or any other magazine that is like fashion related, that's a tax write-off. Because you're doing research for your business. Why not do research? You can't go shopping and buy clothes and say you're doing research. It doesn't really, I've asked, it doesn't count. They don't because basically what they say is you'd be buying clothes anyway, so you can't. You can deal with your accountant on that one, that might red flag you. And I asked about getting nails done too because I'm like, it shows jewelry better. Doesn't really count. Sorry.
But if you buy a shirt for your mannequin and it's only for your mannequin? Yep.
I would write that off.
Yeah, okay.
I'd put that under business expense or business supply. Yeah.
Say it again, I can't hear you.
Oh, she said if she bought a shirt just for her mannequin, I would have to throw that out.
Like, she said if you have your
lawn guys in your nails.
then you can
I'm not long by doing my definitely a possibility. The next one is travel expenses. So anytime like for a national rally or if you're traveling to family, so if you have family outside of Rochester and you go there, please book a show while you're there because then you can write off that business expense of the travel, whether it is your flight or if you're staying in a hotel. If you're staying in a hotel for like a week and you're only doing a show for one day, you can't write off the entire week's expense. They say that's a no-no. You can write off your entire flight, but then only do like one night or 2 nights, like something reasonable that you're there for the jewelry show.
I
Yes.
also do a lot of shows out of town, and so I end up getting an Easy Pass. So
Yeah.
you can write the Easy Pass off.
Easy pass, yep. Any kind of travel expenses that you incur would be a great write-off right there. The next one is meals and entertainment. So obviously when you are meeting someone for coffee to share the business opportunity, your coffee is a tax write-off at 50% because we're eating anyway, we have to eat obviously to sustain life, right? So they're saying we can't write off the whole thing because you'd be eating anyway, but you could write off 50% of all of your meals, or if you're buying somebody else's meal, all of that, okay? So save those receipts, or if you're coming to training and you pick up dinner, or you're leaving training and you're picking up dinner on the way to and from a home show, if you're getting food when you are conducting business, that's a tax write-off.
If you get meals while you're traveling for a premiere, is that a full write-off because you're traveling? Or is
No,
that
because you'd be
still
eating anyway.
So should that go under a travel category or the food category?
I keep them in my travel category, but I only take it at 50%. That makes sense. She was saying when you're traveling, does food count as a whole, like 100%, or is it still 50%? It's still 50% because no matter when you were traveling, you're still eating.
But either category.
Yeah, you can do it wherever.
Can we count half the calories?
Yes, there's no calories when you're traveling. Number 6 is professional services or legal services. So this is if you have an accountant that prepares your taxes, that's a write-off. Just for the sanity that I maintain myself, I'd rather pay someone and write it off. If you do your own taxes, God bless you. I don't know why you'd ever need an attorney, but if you do, actually, when we had our will done, did we write that off? I don't remember either. I'm just thinking of why else you would need an attorney for Premier, but can you? Pardon?
What about car insurance?
No, because well, that would be, you either do mileage or you do like the maintenance on your car would be part of that stuff. So you kind of do an either or, but it's always better to do mileage.
Yeah.
And then the 7th one is miscellaneous. So if you can't figure out where anything else goes, put it under miscellaneous and you're fine. One easy way of kind of tracking this, and I'm just gonna hold it up really quick. On the Rockstar website, I made little labels for you. These would print off on an Avery label sheet. There's 3 different parts on here. You would just print these off, and I put them on like gallon-size baggies, okay? So every month you can kind of figure out which category it goes in. You want these in plastic, not on like a paper envelope. Because you have, if you were ever audited, you have to save these receipts for 7 years. If you were ever audited and they're in like a paper envelope, you're probably not gonna be able to read the writing on the receipts anymore. So you wanna keep them in plastic, so each of these labels can go on, you'll need 7 gallon-sized plastic baggies, and then you can separate out your receipts that way, okay? And then you can either track them monthly, however you want to do it. I would not leave this for 1 day throughout the whole year because you will hate yourself. Okay? It's not going to be, it will be 1 day. Yeah. So really just give yourself like 10 minutes once a month, get this done, you'll be much, much happier in the long run. Okay? A couple other questions that have come up before. We kind of went over nails, hair, and clothing. You can't break that off. Babysitters. This is one of those fine line things. If you don't have your babysitter, if she's not claiming the income, you can't claim it as a deduction. Okay? So most babysitters are not claiming that income, so more likely than not, you're not able to claim that deduction. If you do like gifts for your hostesses or gifts for your downline, or if you want to do gifts for your upline, we're always excited about those too. Those are a tax write-off. So just keep your receipts, and that's a tax write-off. If you have an assistant or if you pay someone to help you, again, they have to claim that as income, but then you can write that off. What else do we now go over? Yeah, so business records are 7 years, personal records are 5. So just hang on to your receipts. The easiest way that I would recommend doing it, if you don't already have a system for it, is I just have all of my shows in manila envelopes like this. That's great. At the end of my show, when I'm done closing it out, on the outside of here, I will put what my profit was, what my jeweler shares were, and the mileage. So then I've got everything that I need to track for that one show on the outside of this, and then I can input it into my Excel spreadsheet. Can you pull up the Rockstar website really quick? I just want to show you where those labels are, and then if you don't have a way of tracking your receipts, there's 2 different methods that we have on there that you can use for yourself if you don't already have one that works for you. Under the new jeweler tab, the labels for the receipts are right there. And then if you are more like a handwriting person and you don't want to use Excel, you can print out forms that will track your receipts for you. If you like Excel, there's an Excel spreadsheet that Dave made that just does it all. You just input everything, and then that front page, if you need help with it, just give us a call and we can walk you through it. But the front page of that is all you have to bring to your accountant. It's 1 page, you print out, you hand it to them, and they're going to love you. You don't have to bring them your receipts or anything like that.
But if you have Wooden House, then.
Wooden House does that for you.
Right.
Yep, if you use Wooden House, then you don't need that. Any other questions, tax related? Yes? You need physical receipts. She said, can you just have your bank statements? They'll want physical receipts if you're audited.
Another set of receipts.
Yeah. So if you don't have a way of saving your receipts, I just have like a little coupon organizer that you can just keep, like I keep it in my purse, and then whenever I'm out shopping, it just goes right into the coupon organizer until, I'm going to say I do it, but Crystal actually does all my receipts for me. Thank you, Crystal. And then organize them out once a month, okay? But just get like one of the ones from the dollar store. There's all different cute colors. There's even ones with little gems on them at Target. You can keep that right in your purse, and then always just put it right there so you don't end up with gum in it, or at the bottom of your purse, and you clean it out and you throw them all out. Okay? That's where mine are right now. Any other questions? Is that helpful for you guys? Yeah. Okay. All right.